The bride who returned. They say some stories do not sleep. They remain awake even when the land grows quiet. When the fires burn low and night insects begin their slow song, the elders of Elorin Hollow speak in softened voices. They say there are souls that do not rest when the body is gone. Souls that return again and again, wearing new skin but carrying old echoes. In Elorin Hollow, people believe time can circle back on itself. That a life once lived can knock gently on the door of the present. And when it does, the people feel it in their bones, even if they cannot explain why. There is one story the women whisper more than any other. It is the story of a bride whose wedding songs never reach the morning. A bride who smiles, who dances, who is loved, and then vanishes before the sun can rise. No one agrees on how it began. No one agrees on why it happens. But everyone agrees on one thing. When she is born again, the Hollow always knows. The first life. Cairo and Luma met when they were still children, long before they understood love. Their parents decided their future for them, as was the way of Elorin Hollow. When they were old enough, they were married quietly, without celebration. At first, life was gentle. They walked the land together, shared meals, and learned each other's silence. Years passed, and still no child came. The Hollow noticed. Whispers began. Luma prayed every morning, her voice low and careful. At night, Cairo held her hands and said nothing, because words had failed them both. Every month brought hope, and every month carried disappointment away. Time moved slowly in their home. Days felt long. Nights felt longer. Then one evening, without warning or sign, Luma felt something shift inside her. Not pain. Not fear. Just a quiet knowing. When the healer confirmed it, Luma wept softly. Cairo lowered his head in gratitude. The Hollow celebrated, but not fully. Joy mixed with caution, as if the people feared hoping too much. When Luma gave birth, the night was strangely calm. And the child did not cry. She simply breathed. And in that silence, something old seemed to return. The bride named Elira. Elira was born just before dawn, when the sky was neither dark nor light. The room was too quiet for a birth. When she entered the ward, she did not cry. The women looked at one another. The healer waited. Then Elira took a soft breath, slow and calm, as if she had been here before and was simply returning. Only then did a small sound escape her lips. Not a cry, but a whisper of life. The elders who came to see her said nothing. They watched closely, searching for something they could not name. There was no illness. No mark of danger. Still, unease settled in the room like thin fog. As Elira grew, she remained different. She was a quiet child, rarely startled, rarely afraid. Her beauty appeared early, but it was not loud. It made people stop and stare without knowing why. She watched more than she spoke. She listened more than she asked. Sometimes she smiled at things no one else could see. The people of Elorin Hollow did not fear her. But they did not fully understand her. As years passed, something strange began to happen. People said Elira looked familiar. Not like a daughter resembles a mother, but deeper. A knowing that made voices lower and eyes linger. Elders whispered of faces long gone. Of smiles remembered from their youth. Of the way Elira tilted her head, the way she walked, the way she laughed softly into her hands. Some swore they had seen her before. Others felt her presence in their dreams. Elira herself dreamed of places she had never been. Of wedding songs she had never learned. Of hands she did not recognize, yet somehow missed. She woke with a heart both full and heavy. When she asked her mother about these dreams, Luma told her they were nothing. Just wandering thoughts. But Elira knew better. When she walked through the hollow, she felt eyes on her, not with anger, not with fear, but with recognition. Like a memory walking in flesh. And though no one said it aloud, a quiet question grew. Had Elira lived before? The first wedding. As Elira became a young woman, many men noticed her. Some admired her beauty. Others were drawn to her calm presence. They came with gifts and promises. Elira listened politely. She smiled when expected. But her heart remained still. She did not rush toward love, nor push it away. It was as if she were waiting for something she could not name. Jealousy rose among the men, and to keep peace, the elders chose an old tradition. A wrestling contest. At sunset, drums sounded softly. Men wrestled in the dust, breath sharp, bodies tense. Elira watched quietly from a distance. When a winner was declared, the hollow cheered. They turned to her. Elira lowered her eyes and nodded. She did not say yes from love. She said yes because the path had already been chosen. The wedding was calm and beautiful. Lamps glowed. Songs floated gently into the night. Elira smiled. Her husband held her hand. When night deepened, they were led to their room. Candles flickered along the walls. The door closed quietly. No one heard laughter. No one heard fear. By morning, silence filled the hollow. Elira and her husband lay side by side, faces calm, bodies untouched, like sleepers who had chosen not to wake. There were no wounds. No poison. No signs of violence. The healer found nothing. Grief swept through Ellerin Hollow, followed closely by fear. The second return. Days passed. Then the chieftain's wife gave birth. When the child was lifted into the light, the room froze. The same face. The same eyes. The same quiet breath. The elders exchanged glances but said nothing. The girl was raised with care and admiration. As she grew, the same whispers returned. She felt familiar. She was beautiful. And years later, she married. By morning, silence returned again. After the second bride died, the hollow stopped asking questions. Grief hardened into fear. Fear needed a name. They said Elira was cursed. That her beauty carried death. That her soul did not belong to one lifetime. Her laughter was forgotten. Only her ending remained. The story was sealed, not with truth, but with fear. The child named Mira. Many years later, the world beyond changed, but Ellerin Hollow did not. When the child was born, the midwife rose. The baby lay quietly, breathing softly, eyes already open. Her name was Mira. No songs were sung. No drums were played. She has returned, someone whispered. From her first day, Mira was watched, not with love, but with fear. Doors closed in her path. Laughter stopped when she entered a room. Children were pulled away. She had done nothing wrong. Yet the hollow had already decided who she was. At night, Mira dreamed of weddings she had never attended. Of songs she somehow remembered. She woke with tears she could not explain. She asked herself the question no one else would speak. Was she cursed, or was she carrying echoes of a past the hollow refused to understand? When she looked into water, she saw her reflection, and behind it, other leaves watching quietly. Not angry. Not cruel. Just present. Mira grew older, and nothing happened. No wedding. No tragedy. Only a quiet woman living carefully under the weight of a story she never chose. Sometimes she stood at the edge of Ellerin Hollow, listening to the wind. It carried voices that did not demand harm, only remembrance. Perhaps Elira had returned. Or perhaps Elira had never left. Perhaps the true curse was not the soul that returned, but the fear that refused to let go. Moral of the story. Fear repeated becomes fate. A story believed too deeply can imprison the innocent. And sometimes, the greatest curse is not mystery, but the refusal to understand it. Because some souls return to be feared. And some return to be understood. Thanks for watching and God bless you.